Good evening and welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre with me, Sanket Upadhyay. Two stories we are tracking this evening. Story number one, after the Birbhum Horror. It was simply unspeakable horror in Birbhum. Mamata Banerjee decided to visit. Is this or was this a damage control tour? And is this necessarily going to help her or work for her? Or has the damage been done? She's been making a lot of comments about people trying to malign the image of West Bengal, but how does that work? If law and order is a state subject in Uttar Pradesh, if law and order is a state subject in Rajasthan, then law and order is a state subject in West Bengal as well. And she is the Chief Minister of West Bengal. And it is her responsibility. Is Mamata Banerjee taking that responsibility? That's going to be the big question. Also on the show, Yogi 2.0 cabinet, we'll get you the inside track. But as we get you that, there are some unanswered questions. The suspense remains, particularly over Yogi Adityanath's deputies. What will happen to them? One lost his election, the other didn't even contest the elections. Will they continue? Or will this be a brand new cabinet or a brand new team of Yogi Adityanath? The inside track right here on NDTV. But first, let's quickly take a look at this presentation from Bengal.
Well, you know, the remnants of that horrific incident that claimed lives of women and children burnt to death in their house is still to see. The extent of that fire, you can see some of that smoke still burning here. The dry hay stack that also perhaps set on fire along with this house. As Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee arrived, eyewitnesses and victims named those behind the conspiracy, local Trinamool leaders. They saw their families being attacked in front of their eyes on Tuesday. 6 women and 2 children were burnt alive as a mob set fire to several homes in Boktui village. The victims were women who were locked inside their homes with their children as a mob gathered outside. The victims' relatives say they saw the mob go after the family members and attack them before setting their homes on fire.
আনারুল খুব খারাপ আমি কতবার আমার বেটাদেরকে মেরেছে এই ভাদুর লোকরা আমার বেটাদেরকে খালি তিনটা বেটা তোমাদের মতন বেটা আছে আমার তা বেড়িন চলেছে.
Distraught residents like Mofiza Bibi say they've lost their families and their homes, and they blame the murdered Trinamool Deputy Gram Pradhan, Bhadu Sheikh's brothers, and a Trinamool Congress bloc president, Anarul Hussain. The victims are also Trinamool supporters and thanked Mamata Banerjee for not protecting the accused. They add there was growing rivalry over the last few years, and the murder was the fallout of political and business relationships gone sour.
মিলে ঝুলে একটা ব্যবসা করতো, সেই ব্যবসার ভাগ সবাই খেত, তার জন্য মাস্তান ছিলেন আনারুল, তাদের পুলিশের মাস্তান ছিলেন আনারুল, মাস্তানকে দিয়ে কাজ করাতেন ভাদু ছিলেন সমস্ত জায়গার মাস্তান, আর ওই মাস্তানের ওখানে ওর ক্যাটাগরির মানুষ ছিলেন লালুন যা করতেন মাস্তান ফিল্ডে গিয়ে লালুন করতেন, আর ইনি পুলিশ সেভ করতেন, আর আনারুলকে দিয়ে পুলিশ সেভ করতেন। এদের সব থেকে বড় মাস্তান হচ্ছে আনারুল মাস্তানি করতেন। আর সব
ভাদু মারা গেছেন, ওনার 3টে ভাই, তাদের ছেলেরা সবাই মিলে জ্বালিয়েছে, আর আমার মাদেরকে কুপিয়ে কুড়ুলে করে কুপিয়ে মেরেছে, তারপর জ্বালাইছে।
Mamata Banerjee ordered the arrest of the accused.
এবং আমি ভাবতে পারিনি এরকম নৃশংস ঘটনা ঘটতে পারে কখনো। আমরা আজকে আধুনিক যুগে যাচ্ছি, সারা বিশ্বে যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে, আর এখানে অশান্তির আগুন শুধু কয়েকটা লোকের জন্য। আনারুল আমাদের ব্লক প্রেসিডেন্ট, বাট তাকে কমপ্লেন করেছিল ওরা, কিন্তু সময় মতো পুলিশ পাঠায়নি, ওকে অ্যারেস্ট করা হবে।
মিথ্যা অভিযোগ হয়েছে। আমি তো হসপিটাল গেছি, এখান থেকে আমাদের উপপ্রধান মারা গেছে, এইটা খবর পেয়ে আমি হসপিটাল গেছি। তো হসপিটাল থেকে যাতে কোনো রকম গন্ডগোল না হয়, শান্তি বার্তা যাতে থাকে, সেইভাবে আমি দিয়েছি। যারা আগুন ভাদু শেখকে মার্ডার করেছে, দুষ্কৃতী যারা, তারাই আগুন লাগিয়েছে।
Anarul Hussain has now been arrested by the Birbhum police. 20 other people have also been arrested. The Congress and the BJP also sent fact-finding teams. They say the Trinamool has been protecting goons and is squarely responsible for the violence.
हम 355 की मांग की है, हम कोर्ट में गए हैं, कोर्ट मॉनिटर सीबीआई की जांच हो, ये भी हमारा मांग है, लेकिन इसलिए कि दूध की दूध और पानी की पानी अलग हो जाए, लोगों को पता चले, नहीं तो बंगाल के मुख्यमंत्री आज पिकनिक करने आए थी.
After coming here, when we found out that it was not a simple case of murder, it was basically how to devise, how to distribute this illegal earning from this illegal stone quarries, stone mining.
The Chief Minister also announced help for the affected families and jobs along with the help. Anarul Hussain has emerged as the kingpin behind this horrific murder of women and children by burning them inside their homes, and Mamata Banerjee did not spare her party leader. But more needs to be investigated as to how this entire conspiracy unfolded, who was responsible for burning people inside their homes here, and the police also have a lot of answering to do, including probing their own over failures of the police to prevent the incident. In Bhokti village with camera person GD Shankar, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And before we deep dive into a discussion on whether this was a damage control too late, let's first get you some visuals now. Breaking news coming in. The Chinese foreign minister on a surprise visit to India. This is Wang Yi arriving in India. He is likely to meet the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar tomorrow. It's a surprise visit and the agenda is still not known, which is what makes it very, very interesting, and the suspense around the agenda continues. The manner in which this visit has been initiated leaves a lot of scope for speculation as to what was the urgency that a meeting like this has happened, especially given the context and a time in an environment in which this visit has taken place. So watch this space. We'll keep tracking all the latest updates and get you all the coverage tomorrow, and a discussion at 9:30 p.m. in just a short moment from now. But first, let's now quickly go back to the Bengal discussion. Om Prakash Mishra, spokesperson of the TMC, Shikha Mukherjee, senior journalist, and Ranbir Singh Pathania, spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you very much. Mr. Mishra, I want to begin with you first. And I want to just ask you a simple question, Mr. Mishra. Had this incident happened in UP, would you have not accused the Chief Minister? Had this incident happened in Rajasthan, would you not have accused the Chief Minister of Rajasthan? Similarly, given the fact that law and order are state subjects there, should law and order not be treated as a state subject in West Bengal and the Chief Minister be questioned for this incident?
It is a horrendous incident. People have been murdered, and it is all fine if opposition would like to blame the Chief Minister or the state government or the All India Trinamool Congress. We are not interested whether the blame has been apportioned to us or not. For us, the question is whether we are in a position to respond to the.
Here is my counter question.
These were your,
Mr. Mishra, this man, the principal accused, was your leader. This is being seen as an intra-TMC fight. It's a fight between two sets of people. But the point is, why was a need felt by a person to take law in his own hands? And what law? I mean, look at the manner in which this is barbaric. So if this is not a telling commentary on the manner in which people or the sort of faith people have in the law and order apparatus of West Bengal, then what is?
Sanket, I agree with you. This is horrendous, cannot be condoned, and mere condemnation will not do. Here we have a very responsive administration, a responsible government, and that is how and why it is neither state sponsored, nor government sponsored, nor party sponsored. In fact, we are the victim. People of Bengal are the victim. Government of West Bengal is the victim. And so therefore very effective action, prompt action has been ordered.
Okay,
already
Ranbir Singh
many accused have already been
prompt action. I don't know about prompt action or not. Yes, there was a visit by the Chief Minister, but of course politically this will also be questioned whether this is a step too late. Mr. Pathania, I want to come to you now. And my question to you is this: do you feel that whenever in any state, right now this is West Bengal, tomorrow it can be any other state, when party workers or people who are affiliated with a certain party feel emboldened enough, and this question has been asked of you in the context of Uttar Pradesh, where you've got vigilantism happening because people feel empowered that they can take law in their own hands. Do you feel it's a weak defense? I mean, then what might or muscle does the administration or the police or even the chief minister have? That means people don't trust the law officers. They don't trust the police. They don't trust the administration. Mr. Pathania, if you could unmute yourself.
It's a not only it's a weak defense, it's a defense which sans logic, which sans any legal sense, and which badly fails the litmus test of, we could say, the constitutional propriety. Let me start with, I think my learned TMC spokesperson, and I will call the Führer Mamata Banerjee. They don't understand the basic principle of collective responsibility. They don't understand the basic meaning of what rule of law virtually means. They have the audacity to trample upon, we could say, the Election Commission's gag order that don't celebrate. I think they are so much indifferent to repeated interferences by the judiciary, by the Calcutta High Court. They are so indifferent to certain concerns raised by a constitutional authority like the governor and raising a point of order on Article 167 of Constitution of India. They are indifferent to the concern shown by the Honorable Prime Minister also. Let me start with a quote of Mr. Nani Palkiwala. Once you want to awake the system, you need to assault these senses. Your senses need to be assaulted. You need to come home. You need to be brought home. What is the basically essence and edifice of the constitutional scheme of things? The people sitting in Calcutta, we could say West Bengal, they are as good as guinea pigs for you. You are just, with due respect and all humility, my lord, you don't have the moral authority. You don't have, we could say, the constitutional sanction to continue in the government. It's better for you. I won't say that the center should, we could say, invoke Article 356. It is better you should accept what is the dogma of collective responsibility. You should take up the onus upon yourself. You have no moral right to stay in the government for even a single second. Okay. That's my considered opinion.
Sure. Shikha Mukherjee, I want to come to you now. Shikha Mukherjee, do you feel that in a politically surcharged environment like West Bengal, where everything was looked at from the prism of politics, that every action on the ground was seen as either an opposition conspiracy or a state-sponsored conspiracy, that people have lost faith in the agency of the administration, in the police, and by effect the chief minister, that they would want to do this themselves, that they would feel empowered enough to go ahead and do what they did? Have they lost the faith in the agency of these authorities?
I don't know whether they have lost the faith in the agency of the authority. That will be demonstrated only after the follow through by Mamata Banerjee's government on the promises that she made today. But what I am seeing is that somewhere in West Bengal at this point in time, there are people who think that the government and the police can be manipulated, but because they belong to a particular party, which is the ruling party, and that they will be able to get away with whatever they have done. In other words, there is a parallel system in operation from the where they can take the law into their own hands. They can do they can enact something like a Rampurhat barbarity, and they assume that they would be able to get away by doing this. I mean, you know, the fact that the chief minister, I mean, I think it is important actually to dissect what the chief minister said in Rampurhat today. She said very clearly that the police has to make watertight cases against those who perpetrated this carnage. The fact is that she herself
needs to direct the police to make a watertight case.
A very
In
important
other words, she is afraid, or she is doubtful, or she is suspicious.
that they will not make a watertight case considering that these are TMC. Very, very important point. What a significant point. I think that's the point.
And Sanket,
This is where you lose
can I just end this?
faith in the-
Can I just end my interpretation of what she said today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I just finish that?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
One more point.
Yeah.
One more point. Then she says, I don't want any excuses that people have run away. She's clearly aware of the fact that whenever such violence happens in
People run away.
West Bengal, there is a flight of the local people from that area. She's clearly aware of it, and she's saying, I don't want any excuses. In other words, she must ensure, as the Chief Minister and the Home Minister and the leader of the Trinamool Congress, Mamata Banerjee has to ensure that the follow-through is
Mr. Mishra, how would you respond?
confidence
The
building.
fact that the Chief Minister knows exactly what the problem is, the fact that she has to tutor her police, that makes sure that this is a watertight case. Why should it not have been watertight in itself? Why does the Chief Minister have to use her authority to tell the police that please make sure it is watertight? See, there's a deeper meaning behind what she is saying.
Broadly speaking, I agree with Shikha because she says that the Chief Minister has instructed strict action based on the severity of the horrendous incident, barbaric incident that has taken place. And then it also underlines from what Shikha Mukherjee has said, that the Chief Minister wants action, and he has instructed the police and the administration. The
Question was very different. My question is, this incident
no,
would not
I
have
have
happened
understood.
had
Saket,
people,
let me
TMC
please.
leaders
Please.
not, Mr. Mishra, this
Please
incident
let
itself
me
would
finish.
not have happened had
un-
TMC leaders not felt emboldened that they can get
No,
it.
no, that is-
Obviously,
that
they
is
must
not
have thought they'll get away with this.
That is not correct. Here in West Bengal, the law and administration is very strict. We do not discriminate among the political parties. And I do not want
I don't
to
know,
do any
Mr.
what
Mishra. I
about
mean, this
any.
will be put to test from here on.
Definitely, it should be put to test, and we are ready for the test. We have passed the test.
let's hope
like
so.
for action.
Let's hope so.
And these actions
But to
are
say
going
that
to
this is
follow,
some opposition
and this is,
conspiracy,
what has happened.
but to say that this is some
Rather,
opposition
the-
conspiracy to malign West Bengal, I think this is such a weak defense by the Chief Minister, and this is not going to hold true.
Which
Law
is
and
very
order is a
correct, and
state
you very
subject.
well
The
know.
Chief
That's
Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, has to take the responsibility of the fact
And that is why we
law
are
and order
taking all the
crumbled
action.
in
All the
front of her own
necessary
eyes.
action are being taken.
Sir, let us.
Okay, thank you
sir,
very
have
much.
been
I've run out of
arrested.
time.
Just,
Let's quickly move on
action-
to our discussion number 2. Thank you very much. Story number 2 is Yogi 2.0. He's going to be sworn in tomorrow. He was elected the leader of the legislature party. The legislators, the MLAs, elected him as the leader. But what happens to the other leaders? See, the suspense remains. And that is what we are going to talk about here. The inside track right here on NDTV. So let's first talk about the inside track before we get to the suspense. So there is a swearing in which will take place tomorrow. BJP's MLAs elected Yogi Adityanath as the legislature party leader in the presence of Amit Shah. Amit Shah, remember, was in charge of Uttar Pradesh back in 2014, and he has had this association with the state since then. But the fate of Keshav Maurya is yet to be decided. Maurya was Deputy Chief Minister in the previous government, but he lost his seat. For him, hope floats as Dhami lost his poll but was still named the Chief Minister in Uttarakhand. Sources say that there will be proportional representation in the cabinet, and that will be key, which means that for the population of the OBCs, they will get adequate representation in the cabinet. For the SCs, there will be adequate ministers of the SC community. Sources also say that BJP, and that's the BJP's feeling, that BJP is now becoming a natural choice for all communities. At least that's what their assessment is. The BJP feels that this time around there will be a stress on women representation too, a greater stress on women representation. Yogi is also likely to induct younger MLAs into ministers, as ministers. So it could be a younger cabinet of Yogi Adityanath. Many MLCs will be made ministers too. About 45 ministers are likely to be sworn in along with Yogi Adityanath tomorrow. So it's going to be a long affair, 4 p.m. onwards. Sources in the BJP say that all this theory of Yogi and Modi being upset and there being some sort of a tug of war, they are quote unquote completely in sync on cabinet member names. We'll know soon. And the party is clearly playing down any rift in cabinet decision. And now for the suspense. What is the suspense that remains on your screen right now? So we still do not know whether Keshav Maurya and Dinesh Sharma, the two deputy chief ministers who were addressed as deputy CMs today, were seen prominently seated on the stage, will remain deputy CMs tomorrow or not. Dinesh Sharma had not contested polls this time. He didn't contest in 2017 also. He was made an MLC. And Maurya lost his seat from Sirathu, was defeated by Pallavi Patel. Yogi also faces the challenge of a stronger Samajwadi party this time around. And ahead of 2024, with 2 years remaining, UP Vidhan Sabha will see a direct Yogi versus Akhilesh fight, because Akhilesh Yadav has decided that he will remain an MLA and has given up his MPship. There was big gains for the Samajwadi party in the Purvanchal caste mix. So can Yogi Adityanath crack the caste code yet again ahead of 2024 in his cabinet? That is, all of this is a subject matter of suspense, which shall only be revealed tomorrow when the ministers are sworn in. Let me introduce our guest this evening. I have Dr. Priyanka Maurya, is a leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who joins us. We also have Professor Bhaskar from the Samajwadi Party. Thank you very much for joining us. I would like to begin with you, Dr. Maurya, first. The Bharatiya Janata Party has taken crucial decisions. Mr. Yogi Adityanath, and this point was reiterated on many occasions, both by him as well as Amit Shah, that this is the return of the incumbent chief minister for the first time in over 3 decades. But will you or will you not agree that there are many challenges lying ahead? To start with, a choice of the deputy chief ministers.
देखिए संकेत जी, challenges तो बहुत सारे हैं और things are going in a very good way, as tomorrow will be a great day for all of us, as we got a good kind of we got good बहुमत हमें बहुत अच्छे तरीके से मिली है, और उसी का सेलिब्रेशन जो हम कल करने वाले हैं, और ये तो कल ही रिवील होगा और आप सबके सामने होगा। जिस तरीके से जनता का प्यार और जनता का विश्वास मिला है भारतीय जनता पार्टी को, कल सबके बीच में ये जो ओथ होना है उसमें बहुत बेहतर तरीके से ये सेलिब्रेशन होना है, और उसी की तैयारी में हम लोग लगे हुए हैं
जी। एंड the Bharatiya Janata Party has invited film stars, CMs, former CMs. It's a stadium full of people, or a groundswell of people that is going to be that people of UP are going to witness. But Professor Bhaskar, Bhuvan Joshi Bhaskar, I want to come to you now. How do you look at this? You gained but not enough to come to power. He is in power, but his seats, Yogi Adityanath and the BJP seats, have dipped. And Akhilesh Yadav has decided that he will be inside the Vidhan Sabha. Is this preparation for 2024, Mr. Bhaskar?
We are honored. Firstly, we are honored कि अखिलेश यादव जी के जो बनाए हुए स्टेडियम में ये आज शपथ ले रहे हैं। इससे पता चलता है कि माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी का जो विजन है, माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी को विकास की जो सोच है।
अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी स्टेडियम।
Yes, yes.
Which was
Now,
built
now,
during
Atal
your
Bihari,
tenure,
but
okay.
ये हमारी सरकार में जब माननीय हमारे मुख्यमंत्री अखिलेश यादव जी थे, उनकी विस्तृत सोच, विकास की जो सोच थी, उसके कारण ये स्टेडियम बना। आज ये हमारे विपक्षियों के भी काम आ रहा है। इससे हम एज ए सोशलिस्ट लीडर हमें बड़ा गर्व का विषय हो रहा है। दूसरा, मैं आपके विषय में कहना चाहता हूँ, ये किसी को भी मंत्री बनाए, मुख्यमंत्री बनाए, चाहे इनके 1 दर्जन मंत्री हार गए हो, चाहे इनका एक स्टेट में कप्तान हार गया हो, एक स्टेट में उप कप्तान हो गया, ये इनका विषय है, हमारा विषय नहीं है। हमारा विषय तो यह है कि यहाँ की जो मातृ शक्ति है, युवा है, और यहाँ के छात्र हैं, यहाँ के मजदूर है, किसान है, उनकी आवाज को लड़ने का काम माननीय अखिलेश यादव के नेतृत्व में समाजवादी पार्टी करेगी।
देखिए भास्कर जी, ऐसा है, हार तो आपके स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य भी गए।
देखिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं, उस हार में और हमारी समाजवादी पार्टी के जीत में बहुत बड़ा अंतर आया। आप एक बहुत सीनियर पत्रकार है साकेत जी, मैं आपको बहुत वर्षों से जानता हूं, और मैं कहना चाहता हूं, देखिए आज हमारा वोट परसेंटेज भी 2.5 गुना हमारी सीटें बन गई है।
Bhaskar, the point is, in politics and in life there is no space for consolation prizes. आप हार के भी अपने आप को जीते हुए बता रहे हैं, तो यही थ्योरी मेरे ख्याल केशव प्रसाद मौर्य की भी होगी। दिस इज नॉट शाहरुख खान बाजीगर मूवी, नो, कि आप हार के जीत जाएं।
साकेत जी, लेकिन यह भी बात पक्का है कि इस बार राजनीति शास्त्र के विद्यार्थी होने के कारण मैं कह सकता हूं साकेत जी कि 2 ध्रुवीय पॉलिटिक्स का अगर उदय हुआ है तो माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी के नेतृत्व में उत्तर प्रदेश में पहली बार हुआ है। अगर एक पोल भारतीय जनता पार्टी है तो दूसरा पोल आज आप देखेंगे समाजवादी पार्टी है। तीसरी पार्टी के लिए किसी के साथ एडजस्ट होने की बात तो बनती है, लेकिन किसी पार्टी के पास कुछ चांस नहीं है। तो ये भी एक हमारी बहुत बड़ी जीत है। माननीय अखिलेश यादव जी ने सीटें बढ़ाई है, वोट
प्रियंका मौर्य, डॉक्टर मौर्य, your response.
मुझे यही कहना पड़ेगा कि
an interesting contest ahead of 2024 in the Vidhan Sabha.
मुझे तो यही कहना है कि साइकिल की रफ्तार इतनी ज्यादा तेज थी कि प्रदेश से बाहर निकल गई, और कहीं न कहीं साइकिल धराशाही हो गई। जो सबका साथ था, सबका विकास था, जनता ने पूरा जनादेश दिया, और उस जनादेश के आधार पे आज ये सेलिब्रेशन हो रहा है, और कहीं न कहीं जनता का बहुत प्यार और बहुत विश्वास है भारतीय जनता
But I must
पार्टी
say congratulations to Dr. Priyanka Maurya that your party has won, and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will be sworn in for the second time. Thank you very much. Let's quickly take in some comments on coup. Suman says BJP can try to give a message even by using the women's card. Chances are that a number of women ministers will be more this time. Surya Jain says after his defeat, will Mr. Maurya, that is Keshav Maurya, again get the post of Deputy Chief Minister, or will it be a new face this time around? Well, as we said, the suspense continues. Good night and goodbye.